Hello and welcome to The One Show with Matt Baker.
And Alex Jones, now coming up tonight as part of a bank holiday festival in Coventry this weekend. A giant domino run, look, snaked its way through the city, and Angelica Bell was there for us. This all happened at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, so a very wet.
I love how it fell off the windowsill to start off with.
Enormous dominoes.
Exactly. So we'll be setting off our own domino tumble.
Yes.
Now, some are bits of wood and some are VHS tape.
It goes outside as well, look. These are Alex's personal collection of all of her One Show appearances over the years.
Yeah, so I knew they'd come in handy, you see, at some point.
Yeah, and our guest tonight will be setting it all off for us at the end of tonight's programme.
Yes. Now, he's a sharp-witted quizmaster and TV host who recently said he came close to death. Tonight, he'll talk about it for the very first time on television.
Please welcome Chris Tarrent.
Thank you. Chris. It's nice to be here.
Thank you so much.
It's actually nice to be anywhere.
Yes, well, this is the point, isn't it?
It was very, very scary. I had a stroke at 39,000 feet coming back from Bangkok, just about all the way home, and that was the longest 12 hours of my life.
So did you alert anybody then when you were on the
No,
phone,
and everybody says, what's the matter? They all spoke Thai and not very good English.
Right.
It sounds daft, but once you've taken off, we're over places like, you know, Azerbaijan or Baghdad or Iran. And I'm thinking, I just want to get home. Jane was working at the airport, I want to see the kids. I just want to get home. I know it sounds daft. At first, because it kept coming, the arm and the leg were just completely paralysed. And then it would start working again.
So this actually happened whilst you were airborne?
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel unwell before you got on the flight?
Just a bit strange, And I slipped a bit before I got on. But I actually thought it was just cramp or something, you know. I've been working stupid hours. I've been filming in Burma, I've been filming in South America. And it's just been a long, silly life, really. And I was wrecked, but I was just so glad. And I got to Heathrow, and I must say the guys at Heathrow were fantastic. Because I thought, if I can just get up to passport and get through and, you know, whatever. And they just keeled over. And people came rushing up to me and said, Chris, you all right? I said, not really. Sort of lying there with all my bags. It was frightening.
Were you alone on the flight then? Were you on your own, or were you with a
no, the crew was still in Bangkok. Yeah, it was scary. It was very scary.
So, I mean, you look fantastic now.
I've lost so much weight.
Well,
it's not a great diet. I don't recommend this as a way of dieting.
No.
I've lost tons.
But have you reassessed your life then, Chris?
Yeah.
Are you going to slow down a bit?
Yeah. I don't know how yet. I mean, at the moment, you know, I'm publicising the book about my dad, so I'm doing that. And then I'm going to go back in my basket for at least 3 months and just think. I mean, there's lots of stuff around, but I think, why do I need... You know, I don't need to work this hard at all.
No.
I love it. I enjoy what I do. I've always enjoyed it. But I've got to, you know, and I've cut down, you know, the lifestyle has changed a lot.
And how are you feeling within yourself now? I mean, do you have any pain? Or
No, I'm doing lots of physio. I've never been so fit, to be honest. I drink no whiskey, you know, which is a bit of a breakthrough. I have the occasional glass of wine, the occasional beer, but no, I'm really, you know, I don't smoke, haven't smoked for a long time.
And what did doctors tell you about why it happened?
He said, I can't believe you're in one piece, Mr. Tarrant, actually. I mean, they were fantastic. I mean, I tell you what, this sounds daft, because they shot me into Charing Cross Hospital at Hammersmith. And I remember, and I was obviously really scared that sort of once I got off the plane or whatever, I thought, oh, I'm having a stroke, and, you know, 1 in 3 die or something. So it was frightening.
The point is that you're supposed to get treatment really quick.
But I remember lying in the ambulance thinking, this is so cool. Because the little bell was ringing, was shooting around here. It was just a silly moment. But that night was really scary, you know. I don't think I dared sleep. They pumped me full of all sorts of drugs. They were fantastic. And then slowly, I mean, my kids, Jane was already there. Jane was wonderful. She was there all night and holding my hand and stuff. And I was frightened. I'm a big guy. I was frightened. I thought I was going to die. And then the next day, the sort of arm lifted a bit and went down again, and the leg started to work and then went down again. And, I mean, I was out within a fortnight. I'm very lucky.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, someone like dear old Andrew Marr, it lasted a lot longer. He's been amazing, but I mean, I think he just had it worse. It's a lottery. I was very lucky.
Well, slow down now.
I'm a big, strong boy, but even so, it is a lottery.
Put your health first, isn't it? But you were saying you have been working on this book all about your dad's wartime experiences.
It's taken 2 years. It's been a labour of love, really. But it's all about my father. I mean, he was my best friend, you know, my closest confidant. We talked about everything except the war. He just would not talk about World War II at all.
Well, we're going to talk about that very soon. But you do look, I mean, remarkably like him. We've got a picture here of your dad, Basil.
Oh, bless him.
There you go. And then we'll have a little look at you, because, I mean, look, the likeness.
He's got black hair.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, but hang on.
There you are. But yeah, the family resemblance is incredible. So tonight, we want to see fathers and sons who look alike, like obviously Chris and his dad Basil. It would be lovely if you could be around the same age when you send those photos. Or of you in the photos, not when you send the photos. Get them to us and we'll show some at the end of the show.
Yes, we will.
So, European elections, there's still results coming in, but it's obvious that the number of... Shortly, we're going to be chatting to Chris about his father, Basil, who inspired him to write a book after he read his memoirs from World War II.
But
he sleeps in some remarkable place.
Doesn't he just?
An original hospital... How would you get on an original hospital
bed? Well, I don't
bed?
think I'd sleep very much,
no, I don't
would you?
either. No.
In that empty room.
He'll be off for a sleepover somewhere else very soon, no doubt.
You will. Chris, we've already touched on the book called Dad's War, all about your dad's wartime experiences. But to go back to the beginning then, I mean, you wouldn't have the material you needed if it wasn't for a burglary that happened at your mum's house, wasn't it?
Well, Mum lingered. I mean, they were absolutely devoted, 60 years together. When Mum died, I mean, the whole family was devastated. And between her death and the funeral, about a week, somebody, bless them, actually burgled my mum's house because they knew it was Chris Tarrent's mum and there were no cars in the driveway. So they broke in, smashed the house up, didn't nick much of value, broke up my dear old dad's desk. And when I came round, and when I was raging, I would have just gone out into the road and grabbed the first person. There was... in amongst the stuff of Dad's desk, which had always been locked up, there was a small diary. And it was bits about the war, which he had never, ever talked about. I never even knew he kept one. And that started the whole thing. Then there was a film on Channel 5, and they were very good about going into detail. And it just started. And then I started trying to find people who'd fought with Dad. Well, of course, bless them, I knew dozens of them growing up, but they're all dead. So it took me 2 years to write it. I mean, I'm very proud of it. It's probably the thing I'm most proud of. But it was a real painful labour of love. But I found 5 wonderful old boys. They're all going to be 90 plus, who served with Dad in World War II. But slowly we put all the pattern together of what he did.
Right.
And you were surprised?
Amazed. I mean, he was a really funny, lovely guy. The kids all loved him. You know, he's brilliant grandpa. And a very gentle man, you know, but the stuff you started to read about, you know, before D-Day he was at Dunkirk and then at D-Day where, I mean, D-Day was just horrific, these bodies floating on the tide. Before they even landed, there were bodies everywhere. And you think about things like, I mean, my dad with a bayonet ripping into somebody's entrails, you can't actually, you know, comprehend that. But he will have had to have done, because there would be some bloke the other way with a bayonet, it'd be kill or be killed. Dad will have killed a lot of people. You know, and the odds against him surviving were extraordinary. I mean, something like 1 in 3 for an infantry officer. Dad lasted very nearly the whole of the war. I mean, he was blown up 3 weeks before the end. He was very lucky to be alive at the end. He saved his arm. He was blown up on a landmine. I mean, and I knew little bits, but only bits. He got 2 military crosses. You know, I mean, he's an extraordinary, heroic guy who just, at the end of it, went, oh, well, got away with that, still alive, my arm's working. Better find a job now. I mean, that generation. That was how they handled it.
It would be great, Chris, if you could read an extract from the book. You've chosen a passage.
I know. I've never read any of this out loud. This is Dad actually writing sometime after D-Day somewhere, and he says, "The sight I saw, I will never forget to my dying day. It was truly awesome in the fullest meaning of the word. I have never ever seen so many ships, nor ever will again. We were several miles off a coast that I assumed must be Normandy, and the sea was covered with grey ships of all shapes and sizes. Our British fleet was the closest, maybe 6 miles off. As they began to lower the landing craft, the sea looked really choppy. There was a long swell running, which would make spotting mines very difficult, and a beach landing even tougher. We were all given seasickness pills and most of the men were throwing up. Surprisingly, I wasn't sick at all, nor even frightened. I don't think I was frightened, just apprehensive. I would have been terrified. And they were all so young. I mean, if you go to some of the graveyards, which I've done, row after row after row of crosses, 19, 18, 17, 20. My son's 22.
And
Awful.
The really sad thing, Chris, of course, that you found all this out after your dad had passed away. And you were telling us during the last film that sometimes you go to the grave and talk to him about it, because, of course, you haven't got the opportunity.
I know. That is one thing. I mean, his death 7 years ago, whatever, hit the whole family very hard, but you sort of get over it, you know. And now this is really... there's so much. I want to say, Dad, what about that bit? What? Because I know now. You can't keep it secret any longer. So just give me more detail, you know. And obviously you can't. And I don't know. I talked to him at the grave. I find it quite therapeutic. I always come away with a tear in my eye. But it's, you know, I can never find out more detail for myself and from the kids.
Yeah.
You know, because the kids, all my kids are ringing me up, obviously saying, Dad, thanks for this. I'm crying my eyes out. I've only got to page 3. I mean, he was a wonderful man. He was an extraordinary man, but so much more of a guy than I realised, and I loved him.
Well, it's all in there. In 2 years of Chris's work, Chris's book, Dad's War, is out now.
Now, across the country, people have been getting up to some very strange things this bank holiday, including a mass domino run that weaved its way through a mile of Coventry.
Yes, now Angelica Bell was there to help move things along, so I know you're eager
Yeah, well,
to hit the end of that, Chris.
Not yet,
but not yet. I'll tell you what, we'll watch the film first and then you can set it away.
You're no fun. Or in rain.
Yes, it was wet.
We're all very excited about
Soaking.
setting off
Oh,
our
yes.
own today. However, we're moments away, Chris. We're moments.
You know.
Now, Angelica, you've been doing a bit of reading on your way back from Coventry.
Yes,
Tell us a bit more about the history of dominoes.
Well, the first written evidence about the game of dominoes was in the 1200s in China, but there's been a bit of debate about items found in Tutankhamun's tomb in 1355 BC, a lot earlier than that, as to whether they were early versions of the game. So, either way, we're not going to argue about it. The game is very, very old indeed, but it was first seen in Europe in the 18th century in Italy, and since then it's spread. Now, the first time I found out about dominoes was from my granddad. Now, he was from Dominica, came over in the 50s, and he'd always make me sit there, play the game with him. And when he was going to pass away, when he was in a home, I used to go to the home and play the game with him, and it sort of brought out this energy in him. He loved it. And then when I went to visit my dad in the Caribbean after not seeing him for a long, long time, he'd take me to the rum shop with all his mates, and they'd be holding their dominoes like that, slamming them on the table, drinking their rum and getting really, really excited about it. And it went to the Caribbean with the slave trade. That's how they got it there. But the idea of toppling dominoes, I think, is as old as the game. And nowadays, the internet, you can see so many people, you know, setting up, toppling, cascading dominoes, and I think it's incredible. And I've got a clip for you from a Canadian YouTuber, and this one is of the map of the world. I think it's absolutely incredible. Look at it. It's made out of 14,000 tiles, and the patience and precision you would need to set that up would be incredible.
Mesmerising, isn't it?
It is. It's mesmerising, absolutely mesmerising. We've got another clip.
Go on.
Yeah.
A tribute to Vincent van Gogh's famous Starry Night.
Oh.
7,000 tiles are used in this one. It took 11 hours to build, and it's an exact replica of art. And I just think it's like art just falling in front of you. I think it's incredible.
You need the patience of a saint, though, hey?
Well, exactly.
Or no life.
You know.
Or no life at all.
Chris, don't say that. We've got domino experts over there. Well, the time has nearly come. We've got wood, we've got VHSs. I brought all my VHSs in so that we could set them up outside.
Yes.
You're welcome to take one home, Chris.
Have a look at these lads this afternoon, look. They were here before you set off
In
for
the
Coventry.
pouring rain, look at
To
them.
set all of this off. And you wouldn't believe this, Chris, this is hilarious, right? 3 times it's gone off at the wrong time.
No!
Yeah.
What, you mean like now?
We were like tiptoeing in here.
No!
Anyway,
All
we're
right.
all very excited about
Chris,
this. So,
would you like to do the honours?
I'd
3, 2,
love
1, go for it.
Yeah!
yes, all going. Oh, it's still going. Yay! Oh, that's falling. Good.
That's clever.
It's gone outside. It's outside now. It's happening. We're on to your VHSs now. We're on to your VHSs.
That looks incredible.
Thank you to our genius domino expert
guys.
for setting that up.
Proud of ourselves.
Well
Thank
done,
you
lads.
so much.
Relief. Look at the relief.
I'm just thrilled to have been in.
Wasn't it good? It was worth coming. Now, earlier on, we asked for your pictures of fathers and sons who look a spitting image of each other.
We've got loads. We'll rattle these off quickly. This is Millie. She sent these in pictures of her brother, Joseph, and her dad, Chris. They're both 19 years old.
Charlie from Southampton has sent in a photo of himself and his son, little Charlie, at the same age, aren't they?
Look at these two.
Gorgeous.
Look at Lee Nelson and Jessie Nelson, both aged 8. Amazing.
Little
Thank you
Holly.
very much indeed.
With the freckles.
And thank you very much to you,
Bless
Chris.
you.
Good luck
No, thank
with
you.
the book,
Thank you very
Dad's War. It's out now in the shops. And tomorrow, lyricist Tim Rice will be on the show.
See ya.
Still
Start to
going.
show
See
you off,
then.
John Jakeman.
Bye.
Bye.